yeah, it looks like maybe right now trending towards formality. Just a few points on them. Ooh, boy, Jimbo picks up another one, though. See, wait. 3 dead for Shopify. Soul Snipe is your last player alive. C will flip in the end, and only 1 point during that exchange collected for the side of Shopify. It's not over yet.
It's not over yet. This could be the everlasting game of Halo. We may be stuck in some sort of time vortex. However, Shopify will get 3 members of ITB into that death screen. Finally, there's 1 more player to deal with. You can see the Soul Snipe is trying to hunt him down. Bento will find the kill. And it is going to be finally the conclusion of the game, the conclusion of the series. Shopify Rebellion will win it again. And we'll finally close the series out at 3-1, but we followed the rules.
Feels like a fever dream. I feel like I made up the last 15 minutes in my head because there's no way.
Whew, Fat Dookies only.
9 points. I think there are lessons to be learned here. When you're trailing 241 to 120, you restart it. Shopify was always going to win that game.
I didn't say it like that. You said it all like,
hey.
Don't you put so much flamboyance in that, dude?
Their first victory here in pools. It was a 3-2 back in London between these two teams, but it's a 3-1 here in Salt Lake City in the favor of the team who have had the Sunday Scaries, but certainly looked
the Sunday Scaries.
Again, I mean,
he just said. He said they had the Sunday Scaries, dude.
The more serious. It's a good result for Shopify Rebellion, especially after how that game went.
It really was. I think Shopify looks very strong. I think not just the games that they won and the score lines in the end, but the way that they've won them.
Size jersey do I get? I get like my normal T-shirt size, or do I go like NFL jersey size? So you go one smaller for the NFL jerseys because they're so fucking big.
Right.
It's like it's funny because like when you order an NFL jersey, it literally recommends going a size up, but it's like, bro, that shit's so big when you go a size up, and then you get like the size you're supposed to wear, and it's still big as fuck.
Thank you so much, Onset and Brav. Salt Lake City.
I'm just not that big a fan of the SSG shirt. Like, it's cool. It's pretty basic.
You're basic, dude.
It's just a bunch of advertisements on a fucking T-shirt. Oats Overnight, Scuff, Steel Series.
Keep playing how we normally play. I mean, we've played ITB the past 2 events. It's been really close every time. They're a really good team. I mean, I think they're a little bit inconsistent, but when they're playing really good, they're one of the best teams in the game. So we kind of just prepared how we normally would prepare for any team.
All right, there you go. Now, speaking of consistencies here, you know, haven't got a chance to really talk to you since the last event, but that Sunday performance wasn't what everybody wanted to see. And now you're here in this tournament, getting ready to make it to another Sunday. How do you guys plan on being consistent, but also even going beyond that to get a better placement than what
so you ready to get beat by the Packers today, dude?
Yeah, we were gonna smack the Packers, dude. Saquon Barkley, like 200 yards rushing. 6 touchdowns, breaking the record. Nah, imagine. No, it should be a good game, though.
All right, I love to hear that from you, Soul Snipe. Hopefully the soul searching has been going good for you. Lastly, anything you want to say to
Depends on which Packers show up and which Eagles show up.
Shout out to all the Shopify fans. Shout out to Shopify and the staff. And
what the fuck is this FaZe Clan website? This shit, what the fuck?
Soul Snipe here on the stage. Lot, take us away.
How do I get this fucking bullshit side ad to go away? What the fuck?
He's a phenomenal player, but also has lots to say about his team and also gassing up other teams, which I've got to say I respect a lot as well.
Never goes away, dude. It'll always be there.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Never to be mentioned again.
No.
On Twitch, on the Halo channel, there's like a sidebar ad. It's like you go full screen, and there's like a little bar on the side that's an ad for like baby formula milk. Oh, there it goes.
I was gonna say it'll go away eventually. Those are just ads for Twitch.
Well, that shit can fuck off, dude.
Dude, you don't have those ads on, dude.
No. I don't think I have an option for those kind of ads. Like that ass.
Yeah, there should be. If you go to your ad or anything, it say like, I forget what they're called. I was looking at my shit the other day.
Yeah, this series got real dangerous as soon as Shopify win that Slayer. They get their confidence back, and mentally they know they're the better team. When they start to play like they're the better
it's under
the individual players
stream display ads.
Making those special plays that was cycle with the snipe.
Oh, no, I guess I do have them
under general.
Yeah, I have them.
Every single time.
Yeah, I think they automatic when they brought them around, they automatically do that shit.
ran away with this series. ITB did a phenomenal
I have my shit like the minimum.
Yeah,
I have
so
like
3 minutes.
the minimum to where you could get the 55% split, and then I disable the pre-roll ads too.
Once they hit their rhythm,
So that way, like when people click on my page, they don't get ads until it runs for everybody.
Yeah.
So like it helps people with like tuning in. They're like, all right, I'm not hit with a fucking ad right away. That's
Yeah,
cool.
no, for real.
I think when you look at recharge, even one alive every single time.
I consider
made it
turning
so
them off completely because I'm like,
Yo, what up, TBS?
I don't make that much off ads, but at the same time, it's like when I have to get those raids and shit.
Cycle was a nuisance.
It's like,
never
fuck.
quite going down, having everything.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta keep the ads on, dude. What are you talking about?
Can I get a fucking...
Oh yeah. Can you get a fucking oh yeah, kitty?
Yeah, it's one of those things. You
Kitty, can we get a
allow Cycle to live for that long. There's going to be spawners who can help him stay alive, and then the line of sight onto the hill.
He's such a good boy. He's purring.
Let's talk about the
He's purring
importance
so
of
big.
making sure that a 3 dead, if you have damage, turns into a 4 dead, or at least you're forcing that
Purring
player
so
away
big.
from a
Such a
spawn
big
position
purr
that's gonna
boy.
be, close enough for other players to influence that game. So ITB got some stuff to work on, but like I mentioned at the start of this show, I think ITB probably a little bit undercooked coming into this event, a little bit under practice, and maybe gets highlighted in those kind of moments.
Yeah, I want to talk about that C-Plat hill that was really where this series, in my opinion, was dictated. There's 2 down for Shopify. The last 2 players alive are known to be sneaky. They're both weak. When you're on ITB and you're trying to cap that C-Plat to gain progress, you need long haul control. You cannot allow them to continue to poke you out of the hill. Someone has got to push long haul there. They decided to sit in the back of blue and try and hold it down, but I mean, it just bought time, like you said, Mark, for Shopify to come off respawn and eventually
damn, my stomach
overpower
hurts.
them and take the space.
Uh-oh.
You have to find ways in those moments to turn
My
2
stomach.
dead into 4 dead and to get that glass control and long haul control to keep your hill players safe and spawn the other team elevator. They weren't able to do that, and that lack of aggressiveness is what came back to bite ITB Esports. They played it safe in that game, and that's where the series was won and lost.
I mean, on the side of Shopify Rebellion, just so much to be happy about there in terms of the stats. The teamwork for me is what's coming forward. And I want to highlight actually not just Cycle, he was phenomenal. We often see him as the highest KD leader on his team. But Soulsnipe for me was so good in that series. And one thing kind of sticking out in my mind is recharge. It's great when you have everything to play for, Rob. You have shock in your hands, your teammate has camo, you have everything that you need to make a run in that map. But for me, it was the way that he was able to use that and utilize it. Sometimes you can have everything and not know what to do with it and how to set up correctly. Him rotating with his team, constantly pushing ITB back into their spawn. It was so beautiful to watch. He had shock for a very long time. Soulsnipe for me was a big standout in that.
He really was. I think the entire way they played that game was so indicative of kind of the overall just game management and prioritization. Let's not forget also when we had Camo and C-Plat, right? They didn't jump into the second hill for about 35 plus seconds before they even started scoring. So I think a few people would have watched that and said, this is not efficient play. I think for me, for a moment too, I was like, should they have been in here earlier? But no, they just get the cleanest kills around Hydra. They use that camo perfectly. Then they jump in, then they bait the time. So I agree. Everything that they did in that game type, it was intentional, it was focused, and it paid off.
Every time it feels like these 2 teams play, the series is pretty close, the games look pretty close, but then when you take a deep dive into the individual stats, they are so far lopsided. That gives me major concern for ITB. Yes, you were able to keep the series close. Games look relatively close at score-wise, but you're getting outslayed. You're getting out individually skilled. And Shopify being like that top 4 team, if you're ITB and you've gotten top 6 this year, it seems like that's the ceiling. It seems like in order to take the next step, you're gonna have
Oh my God,
better
Dr.
individuals. You're
Disrespect
gonna
went
have
back
have
to
better
live streaming today.
statistical performances against the big
No way.
dogs, and that's a major concern going into what could be the rest of
That's
the
so
play,
crazy,
but
dude.
also
So
the
you can
elimination
literally try to fuck
teams
kids,
and individual talent that are
and
going
people
to have
will just
lopsided
let you keep
skill
on
expression
keeping on.
against this team.
Like what the fuck?
Major concerns for Shulk
Alright.
coming in and major concerns
Back in
for
my
ITB
day, when you tried to
coming in.
fuck kids, that was
You
the
were
end of
concerned
you.
about their faces going into
Like-
the Worlds. Will they even make it? They have to make a run coming into this tournament, and they're coming up next, going up against Pure.
He's live right now.
Who are looking to rebound
That's
themselves.
wild.
141,000 viewers.
Oh my God!
The last major of the season.
141,000 people that are like, dude, what's this pedo doing?
Right. Just back on Call of Duty.
I want to see. Let's see what this pedo is doing.
The HCS Space Station Gaming Salt Lake City
España and
major
Portugal.
is presented
Portugal.
by AMD. and Player X.
And Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I'd like to check out Saudi Arabia.
Like, does he even still have a
It's
wife?
destination. It never
I
was
don't
sort of
know.
like a
And
destination,
how
but it's
do
recently
you
become a
come back
destination.
from that and just like not acknowledge it? Just like like what?
Anytime someone like talks to him about it, he just fucking. It's never been proven. No ill intentions. Even though he came out and apologized and said it was out of pocket.
Yeah. And then in the first tweet when he acknowledged it, he like literally said that it was a minor, and then he edited the tweet and took out the word minor, and then had to re-edit it and put it back because people called him out on it.
Autonomous driving. Powers cloud services for billions.
That's wild.
Pure versus native next.
Who?
Pure versus native gaming.
Oh, Pure. Okay.
Disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors. But only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Let's see what the fuck my dog's barking at.
It's a cougar, bro. There's a mountain lion in your backyard. Oh, I'll be right back.
Party's over. Belong to me.
Satisfactory.
Special delivery. Betrayal. Combat evolved.
Not making person.
Hello folks and welcome back to the HCS Salt Lake City Major. We're on to our next matchup, and joining me to talk all about it, I have Tony, Golden Boy and Walshy. Wow, what a lineup. Hello folks,
We're
got a
here.
little cheer there.
I know.
We had a little cheer for you two old
We had a
folks in
cheer?
the back.
Look at that, Dave. We got one whole cheer. Let's go. Turn up.
I've
Turn
got to
up.
say, I'm excited about this matchup. I'm really looking for some growth from both of these teams for different reasons. And I got to say, Native Gaming versus Pure, this one is kind of all on the table for Native Gaming for me. I think they are going to be pushing forward, trying their best to get the job done, and the job for them is going to Worlds. They put in a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of effort in order to get this done, and Pure is in their way, and Pure on the other side of things, they're just looking to grow, they're looking to vibe. What we saw in Atlanta from them was so unbelievable. I have so many questions surrounding them, and the first is, was it a fluke? What happened? Was this what we're expecting from this team moving forward? Will the meta evolve and change things for them? How are you feeling about this team, Tony?
I'm feeling really good about this Pure roster, and I feel really good about them because of the way that they prep. They take film review extremely seriously, and they act like champions. One of the reasons why they've been seeing such success going into not only London, but also Atlanta as well. I expect to be no different here in beautiful Salt Lake City. And look at that beautiful smile from Tom. That's a good
That's the guy who's happy to be here. But you know what, though? Honestly, these are four incredible individuals that it does not shock me that they have found the success that they have found. We've been covering and talking about names like Druck and Cherish and Taulik for a hot minute. But actually, the one that I'm really excited about is Last Shot. This kid had a standout performance in ATL, but on top of that, too, he's kind of been a little bit of a superstar in the making, if you will. You saw him on the narrative recently talking with Onset and Bravo about, the journey and what they're looking for. And this is a team that I think can very well catch people off guard multiple times. You got to be careful. You can't sell them short ever. Native have a tall task ahead of them.
A special talent. Last Shot is, and I always talk about when I first started casting was back in Halo. Guess who was in every single one of them? This young man, Last Shot. And somehow he's turned his SWAT skills into great competitive skills as well in the 4v4s. The damage that he lays on the map opens up so many avenues for the rest of his team. Number one, as far as damage dealt in Atlanta. That is crazy to think about.
I think, sorry, it's Walshy, just to quick off that. I think with the Last Shot, one thing for me I wanted to ask you about is his fearlessness. That's what stands out for me. He's young, he's new, he's fresh, he's got a lot to prove with his team as well. They don't have the accolades behind them, but he plays like he's been doing this for years. He plays with a level of respect, but also disrespect at the same time. He's taking gunnies and fights that you just don't expect from him. I don't think some of our best pros expected either. So from Atlanta, do you see a ceiling for this kid? Is this the very beginning of a superstar?
Don't see that ceiling just yet, and you're right. He has that ego and confidence. You have some of these players who's come up through the ranks, and all of a sudden they're like, they're wide-eyed. They look at like a snake bite or World 2 and like, oh my God, these guys are legends of the scene. I'm just excited to be in the same lobby with them.
Yeah.
But then you have someone like it's Last Shot. It's like, all right, I'm ready to trash these kids. Let's go.
Yeah. Which I actually find quite fascinating considering when you look on the other side of the stage with Native Gaming, you have a lot of players on that team who we were kind of saying the same things about at a certain point in time, right? Tapping buttons, right, was someone who I think we were constantly praising, will constantly praise for his individual prowess. That gentleman on your screen right there, Barcode, another a phenomenal player who has found an incredible rhythm with this team. I'm excited to see, though, what Pure have improved upon heading into SLC in comparison to what they did in Atlanta, because I'm sure that they had a lot of things that they wanted to work on coming out of that.
I think that's a huge question. I think it also moves us on nicely to the fact that they are a punishing team. They're capitalized kings. They will punish any mistake that you make and turn it into a ball of momentum to carry them forward to win a series. They can make something out of nothing, and I think that's what's so scary about Pure. But my question coming into this now, Walshy, is, how far is that risk-reward playstyle going to pay off for them, especially with a meta shift as well?
We're gonna have to find out, because I think, yes, that risk versus reward play style has its pros and cons, but more so when I look at this map list for these players, the first map they're playing has to be arguably the most snowball-y map in the game right now. They're gonna be playing Interference Stronghold. So as soon as you get control on that map, it just feels like it's so tough to break out of it. So whether or not you want to play like an all-or-nothing game style, you have no choice in this game one. It's going to be some team getting full setup, full control, and running away with it for a moment.
Getting setups and control is down to our players.
Sup, slut, BRB. What's up, dude? You're still here?
And the trajectory that
I
they're
think
on
you're
right
right.
Yeah, I'm really happy you asked that because I feel like there's
You there, Homo?
misconception between like a lot of people at home thinking that Pure just is
Why are you talking to yourself?
fast team, these
No, I'm talking to you, dude.
That's it. But I feel like it's
Sounds like you're talking to yourself.
I'm home E, bro. You're the home O. Come on now.
Nah, dude, you're definitely homo, dude. You definitely give shades of gay.
Shades of gay.
Who are able to break down the play so
Alright.
quickly and don't have the fear to attack that play. Cherish with his unselfishness and drug.
What the fuck? There's an all green optic drink?
You live where the gays are made, bro. Come on now.
No, it's San Francisco.
Close enough.
Dude, that's like a fucking 10-hour drive.
Close enough, dude.
It's that film review, it's that understanding of your role, and it's really the hard
And it's really probably only like a 2-hour drive, but with all the goddamn traffic.
This is a team that complement each other.
No, that is legit a 10-hour drive.
that needed to be filled and was
The opposite side of the state.
good portion of the season was Druck, and having him back was a dream. I think everyone
Thought you were by LA.
coming into Atlanta thinking, is he going to be back?
Isn't San Diego just like south of LA?
San Francisco, guy.
Oh, San Francisco. Yeah.
Something that I wanted to talk about is we talk about
Where's San Francisco then?
and teams just vibing
Northern California.
oh, we're happy to be here kind of team, and this is why we're vibing so high, and we're causing upsets and doing crazy things.
But isn't San Diego close to LA then?
Yeah, it's like I'm like in between LA and San Diego.
Yeah, no, this is a
Little closer to LA.
You can go out jacking it, bro.
The sauce.
You like the episode of South Park?
I think that they're going to be okay because, you know, when you look at the players that are
Go
on
out
this
jacking
team,
it in San Diego.
at the top of this, we were talking about, you
That
know,
episode's retarded.
Well, it's based on a true story, I guess. That actually happened. Some business dude got arrested, like beaten off on the corner somewhere, and then that's what they're making fun of in that episode.
A ton of work in those games, and now they make their way over here.
That's wild.
It makes perfect sense that they would be finding their success right now, especially considering that these are guys who play the game together all the time. They're constantly.
That's crazy. An SSG jersey with my name on it would cost less than an optic jersey with no name on it.
It was only a matter of time before one of these teams cracked through. Same thing for Shopify, right? It's just another matter of time before these teams manage to break through that
So I
gap
think you
last
figured
year
out what
and
you're
find
gonna get
themselves in a
then.
position where they can contend with the
Probably.
best
Now it's just like, do I want the white one or the black one?
Yeah, we talk also about duos often. And I gotta say,
I'd probably go
Druck
black
and
just
Arsenal
because
have
it's
been
like,
together for quite some time now, and you talk about the history between
it's
the
just,
two.
I don't know,
How
safer.
important is
I was
it
about to say
have
black
a
hide stains.
really good,
Yeah.
historic, and also just chemistry
Especially like on a
amongst
jersey. I don't want to wash a
duos?
jersey
As
every time I wear it, you know?
experience, from your experience as a pro player, having your duo, having that guy you can lean on at the hardest of times in a series, it means a lot to your team and to those individual players themselves.
You see the goddamn Chiefs one?
In and out of the game. I think that's
Yeah, that shit was. I mean, they won fair and square. The Ravens didn't put up the like make plays when they needed to, but that fucking shit with the defensive coordinator calling a timeout and actually getting it was insane.
I didn't see that. What happened?
Yeah, because in the game, like only the head coach and the players could call timeout, and the players have to be on the field also. It has to be like an active, you know, one of the 11 guys that are active. But the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs came running down the field calling timeout to the ref, and the ref was ignoring him because that's what he's supposed to do. He's not supposed to give it, like, grant it to anybody other than the players and the head coach. And some fucking ref from like the other side of the field saw it and granted it to him and like called the time, like let them get the timeout. And then like they just laughed it off and nothing happened. It's like that should have been like a 15-yard penalty for the Chiefs. And like it's a I forget what kind of foul it is, but it's some kind of a foul. And like they just didn't do anything about it. They gave them the timeout, and then the Chiefs like scored on the the Ravens got the stop or some shit, forced a field goal or something. I don't know what happened, but a big like turning point in the game, in my opinion. Like with the Ravens like in the red zone, without a score.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
They had like obviously the Chiefs didn't have the right defense they wanted, and the Ravens would have probably scored, and they got granted a timeout. But so a lot of people are mad about that, but it's like that's not the reason they lost the game. That's definitely one part, but
On each other in difficult times. Can't
really like blame the whole thing on one little thing.
Putting some work in behind the scenes through online tournaments to be here and to qualify for Worlds coming up next. And I just want to know if you're seeing anything from this roster that gives you hope. Are we seeing experience coming in from APG, being able to kind of lend that to his other teammates? How are you seeing this team evolve before you, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Native Gaming has
Yeah,
been
fuck the
a
Chiefs.
very-
I'm fucking tired of them
rocky
winning.
start to the season, but I do say they have
APG looks so
some
goofy
feats of
in that
greatness. You know,
picture.
they have been getting better week after week. You know, we saw them, beat their rivals.
Bro, it's
in
cheesing.
thought that
I know,
was
like,
huge.
holy
They get a
gum
little
line, bro.
revenge on the team that dropped them.
Like,
We've seen them play
got them
SSG
big ol'
really
gums,
well.
dude.
We've seen them have moments looking really good, and I feel like that's going to carry over right here to SOC. And one of the reasons why I like watching this team is because of APG. I think he brings a championship experience, a pedigree to the squad. He walks, talks, and acts like a champion, and I feel like the rest of his team is going to be able to feed off of that and learn from him, especially a player like Barcode, who's going to become a leader himself.
Yeah, actually, if you get an opportunity, go check out Native Gaming's Warcry series that they pushed out on YouTube I think just today, as a matter of fact, kind of hyping up, a Native coming into this. And I think, something you really got to take away from this is you have 4 phenomenal individuals on this team, right? You got guys who've won championships across a variety of different titles. You got guys who just have that understanding of the game at an incredibly high level. But the problem is, we've seen this happen across a variety of different esports. When you bring individuals together, they have to try to find a way to be a bit more cohesive. How do you build that cohesion? And I think that is something that Native Gaming, they're going to have to answer at this event, because last event, and one of the things I took away from that documentary that they released was Barcode saying that, he has to trust in his calling. He has to trust in what he's going to execute when he's out there with his team. And that is going to be the thing that I'm looking out for, right? How definitive is this team going to be at making decisions? Because when these 4 players get hot, they can be disgusting. They just got to find that chemistry together on stage.
Yeah,
Jimbo's eyes right there with his
not much
glasses.
of, like,
I didn't see
how
it.
well they're doing when they're hot. We know how
Oh,
well
yeah,
they
no, I
can
see it,
play
actually.
there. The difference
I'm on
between
YouTube.
these
Just
teams
look all
that are
cockeyed and
stuck in
shit.
this position of, like, 6th through 12th seed is that their average or below average gameplay isn't enough to beat those other teams within their range.
Or wasn't that Gilkey?
Whereas when you look at the very top of
Oh, yeah, it was Gilkey, actually.
SSG,
Yeah,
FaZe,
Jimbo's
Optic,
on
their worst
ITB.
can
But they
withstand
do look
It's-
exact. They look so similar though, so I don't.
above
I can
average
totally
or
understand.
near their best.
Yo,
And so that's the
Beetle,
part that
what's up,
those teams
dude?
really need to work on. Is
How
they
goes
need to
it,
know,
homie?
what
Be
I
looking
like
like
to call,
APG at
worst
Worlds.
case
I got
scenario.
my
They need to
Trying to
go
play
through
some
those
games
a little bit, set up
situations
for my
and
braids.
Getting on in a little
what is
while.
our consistent method to break out of these
Yeah.
situations and
Oh,
play
you
consistently
pimping.
and not rely on somebody just having incredible 5-shot
If
and
you
get
say
out of
so.
that position.
Yeah.
And I think there's also an
Yes,
element of
sir.
trust that comes with that, right? It's trusting your teammates.
You'll be like,
and
damn,
making
look at that
sure,
hair.
like I said about
You
Barcode,
wanna
that
be
call,
black,
and then
white
every
kid.
single one of you 100%
Stupid.
you got in, no matter what the issue is with that call. If it's the wrong call, oh well. Hopefully your skill ceiling will push you through that kind of bad play call. But at the end of the day, making a
To
decision
see you
as
with
a
them
team is
with
better
them
than
white
making a
man
decision
dreads.
as a
Or not
team.
dreads,
You're
but
never going
whatever
to
the fuck
win
you
in
call
that
those.
situational scenario. And I think trust
Some
is
corn rolls?
so
Yeah,
critical
those
in
things.
Talking about
The homie always calls them corn rolls.
changes,
He
and
like
that's
spelled
where
that shit out last time in chat. I was like, bro, it's corn rows.
No, you put
He's
corn
like-
rolls.
feel like they could grow enough for this event.
I was like, what is? Sounds like a food or something.
Yeah, it does.
But I didn't feel like this massive
Like some cornbread type shit.
The skill
There was
is there,
cornbread,
but
corn
also,
rolls.
Like I said, the difference between these teams that are stuck in this
It's just
area
cornbread,
is
but, like,
how can
in
they
a
play on
roll
their average
form.
mark. And for me, that is how strong is their overall strategy and their individual tactics. when
Dude,
they
I'm
get those
tempted to buy these
positions,
SSG
and then
shorts
going
with
through
this
and
order.
have they
I'm looking at like something else maybe to
going
buy
through
with
film
it.
together
Since I'm already
and talk through what should
buying
I be doing
something.
in this situation? What should be my thought process?
But
Because
it's sick. They're
you're
black
right,
on
at
that.
some points
Like they're
there's certain
reversible, and one
calls that
side's
need to be
black and one
made,
side's like
that
grass.
need to be charging towards the areas. But with how fast-paced Halo Infinite is, a lot of it has to be you spawn and you know exactly what you should be doing with that spawn, with that given situation.
These are the shorts. I don't know
Not
how fuck
giving
what size I
coach
wear.
From your IGL or your coach in that position.
I
You
never
just
know
need
with
to
like shorts or
and
like sweats and shit
We
what
have a
size to
series
get.
layout on the screen for you guys right now.
Just gotta try 'em on.
Usually just go large.
When you're looking at both and how they match up, Pure being one of the fastest that we have, the most unpredictable.
But I like
how are
myself
you
a little
feeling about
baggy,
Native
though.
going up against that pace, and will they be able to dictate their own?
Well, like we kind of mentioned before, Stronghold's interference definitely lends towards
I usually
Pure wanting to
go-
muddy up the game. They
like
want
my
to be
shirts, I
able
go
to
2XL,
create
but-
these unfair matchups.
God
Well,
damn,
sounds
you fat fuck.
They
Okay.
really want to muddy up the game.
It's
The one
tall.
thing that
I know,
Native have
I'm
on for them is
But,
that this new bandit meta. And
for the longest time I was going
now,
XL,
I
like
think
they would
that
fit right, they just wouldn't ever
some
long enough.
scenarios, But that
Like I
might be
could
more
wear like
so
an XL tall.
in a
They just
Slayer
never get that
matchup
option.
where they could really
That's funny.
set
I
up
wear
and
large
dominate
shirts,
map.
but I could fit
Even
into a
game
medium
type
if I had to.
Oddball, where it's really about
Yeah.
holding setups and also breaking them. But more you get your
Yeah,
points
fucking
from
large
overall
and XL
setups
just
start to turn to
never fits me
momentum.
right.
So, I feel
I like so
in
much
game
shirts
two or
I
game
just don't
three,
wear
that's
anymore
why I
because
like Native a little bit more.
they were either bought for me and people didn't know what size to get me, or
That's going to be a tough one for them.
I just
Certainly
outgrew
is
them.
indeed. Well, two teams looking for their first dub of the day on the main stage. We're heading on over to our two handsome, amazing, expert casters. Oh boy, Walshy.
I've always been kind of smaller, so I remember like when I was like a little kid, people would get me clothes for like holidays and shit, and it'd be like clothes that I wouldn't be able to wear for like 3 years because I had to grow into it.
Looking forward though. I've been actually. This is a game that when we got it on the rotation, we saw it, I was
I'm so
really
glad I didn't go to
stoked
work.
about, Dave,
My
because,
fucking stomach is
you know,
fucked up.
Pure Native, right? Native is I would say a quite prolific team in Halo Infinite at this point in time.
Absolutely.
Prolific organization.
Don't want them
here.
100-degree
So to see them
porta
kind
potty
of go
poops,
through
dude.
this down part of their organization's history has been quite fascinating because they have 4 players that can very well build them out of that slump that this team has been in. But the problem is that Pure are
Let's
white hot
go
right
Pure.
now, and it is going to be very difficult to try and stop this team here, especially on land with the experience that they got in Atlanta.
Yeah, and they are tough.
Pure versus Native Gaming, dude. I'm rooting Pure all day. Fuck you, APG.
Rankings as their records as they've gone through these game types. The overall map record for these two teams is 7-8 for Pure out of these 5 maps, and Native unfortunately is 1-13 out of these maps so far in the 2024 season. So it's going to be rough here, but like I said, I actually don't hate this first map here for Native. Despite being 0-3 on the circuit, it's just a snowball 1. You can get the kills, you can get the lead, and you can run with this game.
All right, well, we'll see what happens here as OS has been picked up.
Oh, and he dropped off the map. What is he doing? Druck, what were you doing?
But hey, at least the overshield's not playing
That's
anymore.
take a note from his counterpart over there and tap a different button there as he's going across. But the only call you can really do in that situation, GB, is you just say, OS is burned. That's all you just say, OS is burned, and you move on. You don't give any other
APG's
details
tag
until
just
after the match.
HCS
Because they
107?
will watch the feed and be like, what happened? And be like, yo, dog, I don't know, man.
OS got burned. I took care of it.
Honestly,
Don't worry about it.
I'm a blame lag, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, moving forward, though, let's see. As we just saw for a brief moment here, or I would rather say it was going to be a brief moment, this trip cat here from Pure to try and get themselves back into this one. Big win there from Barcode.
That's a huge
He
double.
comes in hot, managing to pick up 2 big frags there to keep his team very much in this one. Now they're going to set their sights over toward A. You got Cherish who's going to wisely enough back away out of this engagement here. 2 players going to be
And
tough
Pure's
to
still winning now? They wasted an OS and they've come back. That's crazy.
Marco knew that last shot was going to be around there. Was trying to sniff him out, couldn't find him.
And that's rough there, because I felt like Barcode, like you said, you got that double kill, you got shots on the remaining 2 players on the map, and they weren't able to flip that into more kills, more control. Instead, Pure able to break out of that.
We've seen the flip come through yet again. Gilkey, he's got eyes on the target here. He's got a few to mess around with, though. Need to be careful about that B push that's going to be coming in here. Druck, 1 shot. Not going to be long for this world. 2 more players. Overshield's going to be up. Oh, we almost saw a repeat. Would have been a really bad sequel. That being said, though, Gilkey's still going to keep himself alive. Big door push, but that is going to be Talik picking up that OS, and that could be quite problematic for them. You know, with the way that this game has been going, Dave, they need those little things, especially that overshield, especially what happened after the beginning of this one.
You know, with the single slip earlier there with Druck, you got to blame it on Druck. That's not happened to Druck and
I wonder
Gilkey.
why
I wonder
APG
if
would
it's a little
push that right there,
greasy, a
but
little
whatever.
slippery there over on the OS platform. We should go get a mop.
Gotta talk
Check it out.
to the UNSC.
We should
you
go
know,
get
see
him
if they,
up.
you know, put some oil down there or something like that. You know, I mean, it's slippery up there. In any case, so as we look forward, this is now starting to be, and this is what we were talking about on the desk just a second ago, right? When things get a little muddy, when things get a little crazy, this is when Pure is going to thrive. They're moving around this map beautifully. They're forcing Native on that back foot, giving them no opportunity to get a comfortable cap and a comfortable hold. They had that 1 hold at the beginning,
where's my
the
lighter?
BNC hold, and then ever since then, it has been.
Hold up, I'll be right back.
Pure
Gotta grab a lighter.
Just owning every aspect of
Let's
this
go,
map thus far.
Pure.
Yeah, just constant pressure here. This is the trouble with this map is it is so small that players can go capture over at C and then a few seconds later sprint on over and lay out shots over at bunker or over at engine.
Trip cap.
So it's just constant pressure. So even when you feel like you're spread out across the map and trying to distract the opposing team and pull them in different directions, they generally can get to any spot really quick.
Yeah, they've seen how this is playing out so nicely in Pure's favor, and then you can just have Taulik as well as Last Shot just constantly push these fights. Great job there, just keeping that attention on him. as much as he possibly could out of that one. Last shot's going to get cleaned up here, but you can't give up these deaths here. You got to win this big fight. And that is going to be a massive dub picked up there for Native to just try and keep themselves alive in this one. Of course, HCS 107, that's going to be APG. For those of you at home.
And that's the amount of HCS tournaments he's attended in his career. So you know he's got a lot of experience under his belt. He's going for 108 next year. Or 108 at Worlds.
107 years of Halo. We're doing it. Well, I wonder if we could be here 107 years later. We got to make it first. All right. BC control yet again coming through for Pure. This is still looking quite good for the red squad. But can't sell Native short quite yet. Gilkey hasn't been able to heat up here, but when he does, he can be one of the most scariest people in the server. Whitehall fight coming through Talik. Oh man, but Gilkey, look at the way that Talik was just able to get away from that. Just play his life so well. And I say that he's actually re-peaked to get picked, but still keeps that attention on him for as much as he possibly could. This is going to be good though for Native Gaming, as they can now start to build up a little bit of a, some percentage here.
Here is right on 117 for the score.
Yeah, and I see they also have that player over at B or at Nest, and I feel like that's okay if you were forced there and stuck for a moment, but for the most part, you're going to see these players want to control the center of the map, and they'll go to Nest when they actually need to grab Sniper, when they need to actually push out, to like reset the hill. But you generally don't want to park there. You see this again from Barcode and APG, both over at Nest. They already have Nest under control. They want to put more pressure on A and C.
Yeah, and they end up losing A out of that one, but B and C is going to be theirs for the taking. Big pressure there coming in on Snipe's side. Tapping trying to get away from this. Now let's see what he could do. No one's chasing him. But he's got eyes on Druck. He's going to need some help out of this one, though, and Cherish is giving Druck all the coverage that he needs. And look at that on inside of the sewers there. Last shot just coming out of nowhere. Really just causing a problem there. You think he's fighting 2 people, instead he's fighting 3 in that engagement.
Yeah, these players just play so fast. You'll notice so many times where they get to no shields. Generally, if you're playing matchmaking or playing at home or at a lower level of Halo, you're able to just go hide in the corner, get your shields back. But instead, these players are just repositioning, trying to catch someone off guard, get a shot, get some extra damage. They can't just stay static.
Constantly talking to one another. You'll hear it in those listen-ins if we go into one of those. The Druck with an OS now. That's going to be another one grabbed here for Pure.
And he's not going to waste that one. He's actually going to make plays with that
one here, pinning them inside of the bunker, not really letting tapping buttons get into the action here.
Come on, Native.
This is only just going to
I want Pure to win, but I want Native to make it a game.
For Native Gaming, if they break out of this, they have to fight this as much as they possibly can. Just get him out of there. And Druck, though, he is keeping a presence felt. That being said, though, they do manage to force the attention over toward A, Dave.
Yeah, Druck played that mostly perfect. I felt he found 2 players over at the bunker, laid down shots on one.
Good kill.
Didn't force the fight or force the finish on one of them. Just waited until his teammates got over there and then just clean up the kills. But during that time, they were able to scoop up a little bit extra time. You see still a 50-point lead here for Pure. But one thing that's surprising to me is we haven't really seen either of these teams get this back and forth full setup, which I feel is so iconic here on the rig around interference. They usually get all 4 down. They're able to go get the spawn trap over at Carbine, then push over, get the spawn trap over at Bunker, back to Carbine, and before you know it, the game just spins out of control. But we haven't really seen too many extended trip cap.
Yeah, we saw briefly at the beginning from Pure, where they had that first trip cap. And that is honestly what has supported this sizable lead that they have built up. But outside of that, you're right, Dave. We haven't really seen anything else. It's kind of been more back and forth, but that works in the favor of Pure. They're going to be up right now, crossing that 200-point threshold, and this is a solid start here for a team that really just surprised everyone coming out of HCS Atlanta and could very well set themselves up for success here in SLC. If they continue to play like this, I mean, they are effectively shutting down Native, not really allowing them to get any kind of presence on the map whatsoever, and you kind of feel like Native there, a little flat here, right? No one's really taking fights together. They're pretty much just taking individual ones, just trying to see if they could find a fight wherever
individual
they can.
Ones? Individual pibs, dude?
2 members of Pure next to one another, whereas with Native, they've just been isolated.
This game's starting to get a little bit away from Native.
It doesn't feel like they're all focused
I
on the
never
exact
realized
same
that
spot.
pipe was
I mean,
there.
I
That pipe
talking
you just
about
jumped on,
before
never
when
knew
I
that
saw
was a thing.
Players over at Nest, I'm like, Nest is an okay spot to be temporarily. But you don't want to chill there, and that's game.
That is it. I mean, that was basically as textbook as it could possibly get.
8 and 14 by APG.
They did what they needed to do at the beginning of the game, and then at that point, they just held on. They did not allow Native to get comfortable at all. Native gets B and C control. They don't worry about it. They stick together. They fight a spot. They win that spot, and then they just continue to snowball that success. Pure pretty much picking up right where they left off. 56 kills coming out of that one to Native's 37. You ain't winning if you ain't slaying.
No,
56 to 36. They had 19 more kills.
Here, especially at the highest level. We always try to talk about objective efficiency, but I always
Kind of crazy. The score wasn't worse than, to be honest.
In general,
19 more
whoever's
kills
slaying
than their
more-
team. That's actually pretty,
Typically,
pretty wild, dude.
Money's gonna go over there, But we'll see. This
damn.
native squad can bounce back here. It's going to be quite difficult for them to do so, but you know what? Anything is certainly possible here at the HCS. Take a look at some of the replays.
Anything is
Yeah,
certainly,
again,
certainly
it was
possible.
A pretty solid start for both teams here. Outside of the OS
Good double.
dropping, that was a little bit of a heartbreaker.
Yeah, you need to replay that
Pure
OS
with
drop off the map. That was
power
crazy.
Item control for a good chunk of this one.
It
It's
almost
another
seemed
one
like he did it
where
on
it's like, you're not
purpose.
really
Like, I know he
gonna win
didn't, but
if
like
you're
the
not
way he jumped
controlling
off the map
those
with the
power
OS
items.
was
It becomes
almost
a lot
like,
more
how did you
challenging
do
to
that by
so,
accident?
in those engagements there, and we saw that play out to perfection.
But shit
for
happens.
Pure.
Yeah, just still overall dominating score, even though they only had that trip cap a little bit at the early part and a little bit at the end. But game number 2, we're going to be looking at Recharge Slayer.
Pretty sure that's breaking shot right
This
there,
one's
right?
going to be a much slower game. You can't really do the exact same style of gameplay as
Tapping
we saw there in the
buttons.
interference, where you're able to get the kills and there's
He's got
no
great
pressure on
hair,
the new
bro.
spawns because there's just too many isolated spawns. You can spawn over towards back elevator or towards back C, and you can't traverse the map as fast.
Yeah, there's just a lot of empty, or rather I should say open areas that you can get picked off if you're not careful. Of course, these players, having played this since the beginning of Infinite's run here at HCS Recharge, know that better than anyone else. And looking at some of our stats there, no surprise, Last Shot just continuing to be a top performer for this team. Coming out of that one, 16 frags for him, also 9 assists too. So this guy was out here putting in a lot of work just to set his teammates up for success. And part of that was this Last Shot Taulik tandem combo that was really pushing these fights quite nicely against Native.
Well, at some point when you
Quite
put down
nicely,
the most
dude.
damage in a tournament, you are going to get a lot of assists.
Yeah, that's true too.
As soon as you're laying out shots, you're getting a lot of kills,
That's true.
or a lot of assists, or a lot of kills and assists.
Yeah, you're doing something right. It's working out. But we'll see, though, how this all pans out. I mean, we're getting ready for Slayer on Recharge, as we mentioned before. And, I mean, records-wise, right, like, neither team particularly shining. But that was a thing that the squad had talked about.
They won 150 to 130.
Documentary I was referencing before, which was, APG was talking
That's
about
definitely
like, the
supposed to say
Slayers.
250.
Barcode was talking about the Slayers. This was a thing that they knew has kind of just been a thorn in their side. And with the way that interference,
Put the J
strongholds
between
game
your
went,
pinky
you gotta
and
put your
ring
money on
finger,
Pure here
and then
because
cup both your hands
they
like
have
a
Holy
spear
fuck.
the aggression,
slash
they
pipe
have
and
the-
inhale.
Fighting demons.
delusional confidence to just push
Okay, hold up.
constantly.
Put
It
the
works
J
out very
between
well
your
for them.
pinky
They have that
and
teamwork
ring
cohesion
finger.
locked
Okay.
down. And Native, this is a team,
And then
it's
cup
four
both your
individuals
hands
coming
like a
together,
sphere.
middle of the season to try and make this thing happen here. Well, the other guys were on the roster,
And
but ringing
then
and tapping. It's definitely going to
pipe and
create
inhale
a
between the
bit of
thumb
a
and point.
cohesion issue if you have a pure squad that is playing with so much confidence like this.
Yeah, I mean, if
I
you're going
kinda get
against
what
other
you're saying.
rosters that have their strategies
both
figured
my
out,
hands
they've
like a
been together a
spear?
little bit longer,
Hold
they've
up,
had
I'm
more
retarded.
success, it's
Give me a
just
second.
tougher to catch up to that. Because
Put the
even
J
if you
between
implement
LOL.
their exact
No,
same
LOL.
game
Cup your
plan,
hands
like,
together
okay,
to
they're doing
pressure
this
the
strategy.
smoke.
Yeah.
They're doing this during scrims. You're still months behind, arguably. So
Yeah,
at some
yeah, that's
point,
very true.
it's at some point you have to have some great leap in success, whether that's, all right, we've really figured out this thing. or
Oh,
we're
I
getting
think I get what you're saying.
better
Like,
per hour compared to our opponents when we're scrimming and practicing, but it's really tough at this highest level.
Yeah, it
How am
definitely
I
is.
supposed
And
to-
then on top of that, too, coming into this event, we only had one team change, right? Which tells you that you're also playing from behind
I might
there
be
as well,
too
because you
retarded
got
to do what
so
you're trying to say.
many squads that have built that
because I got it
teamwork,
between my
built
pinky
that
and my ring finger.
cooperation.
But now
And you
how am I
to see
supposed to
there,
like
look at Last Shot taking this fight absolutely
cup
beautiful.
my
He knew
hand the
exactly where he
right
needed to
way?
be. He gets
I don't know.
himself a
I'm too
2-1
stupid,
out
bro.
of that
I'm
one.
just gonna
What a way
hit
to
it.
start things off for that young gun.
Just breaking through like that. That's so incredible. Just such fast movement.
And gave him the camo to boot with that play. That one guy took 2 players out, opened up the field, and then you get Druk picking
I'm not
up
a
the camo
genius,
just
bro.
like that. It just that is scary to play against.
Druk.
I'm sure if I
Across
saw
the
what
map,
you
I
meant,
love
I would
this
be
play,
like,
but
oh,
it's
I'm
spotted
retarded,
out.
and I
How
would
can
get
you
it.
look at
But
this finish though, it's tough. You can't really lean over into batteries on a camo player if you don't have exact eyes on them.
and yeah, I
A little
want to
bit
get
of
high, by the way.
shave is all, but this is gonna
Took
open
me a
things
minute
up
to
here at
realize that
Ice.
was you and not my
Low-key
stream.
See
poggers.
these players, the blue players dropping back, playing the steps, playing the long haul as well. But Druk's got it. He's got that ground shot. He's got eyes on him. He's going. He's hungry. He finds it. He
You're
gets
not
his
live,
dish.
dude?
He gets his dinner.
Nah, I'm not gonna be able to watch all day today. I'm gonna go to my brother's in a bit, a few hours to link up with my sister, my brother, my nephew, watch the game. My nephew's a big Packers fan, so figure we watch the first game together.
There you go.
And my sister's like on board with both teams. She was like a Packers fan until the Eagles were good, and then she became an Eagles fan. Now that they're both good, she's like, fuck.
Shock rifle and was doing some work with that, but it looks like it's also back in the
But she just does it because we like it.
Look at your Xbox messages.
She wants to be part of the crew.
Keeping control shock rifle. That seems to be doing the trick against Pure.
Dude, I might buy this touch grass rug.
And head
Do want to remind everyone, HCS 107 is APG. Just an FYI. In case you're wondering.
Might be getting
HCS
copped.
107 guy? Problem solved.
I don't have a message from you.
Mystery concluded. But this is, of course, slowing down to a snail's
Chats.
pace here. And they know that. They know that they're going to have to wait for this camo to come up here, which it is available, and that is going to be a grab from Druck yet again. Here comes the push now, tapping buttons, going to deal with some pressure over on his side of the elevator side of the
Yeah, I don't got a message from you,
dominate
dude.
on that one, but Barcode does
Oh,
manage
he
to push
sent now.
away
Okay.
with this camo. Can he keep his life?
Now
Can
I
he
do.
stay
Yep,
alive here?
There it is.
There's no one in the vicinity to try and stop him, so for the time being, he can breathe a sigh of relief.
Oh,
Two players are going to be located here
okay.
inside
You're
of
saying,
control,
like-
and that's going to be one picked off, looking for another one, but that
Oh,
nade is
put
going
it
to be
through
his death now.
Where did that nade come from?
I see
Came
what
from
you're
blue,
saying.
and, I think it was like that
Okay,
player,
I get what
blue
you mean
side, I'm
now.
pretty
You mean
sure
like
he, like,
this.
just toss it up.
I was looking
But I
at
didn't
that one
see where it
because for
was.
some reason I thought that we saw Barcode kill last shot and that said he was killed by a nade, but I could have been incorrect there from that first kill.
Score though, starting to peel away here for Native. They got themselves a 5-kill lead.
That
Still
worked
not
pretty good, actually.
Early days and very, very doable here for Pure, but nice shots there hit.
Thank you
by
for the
Tapping.
picture. I definitely needed the image.
He's getting pressure though from the long haul. Knew that was going to come. Tried to see if he could help out his teammate in enough time, but does not
Once
work
I saw
out.
the picture,
That
I was
being
like,
said, though, it does open
oh,
up the
I get what
opportunity
he
for
means.
Barcode to be able to push into control.
I was trying to read what you were saying, and I'm like, I just couldn't
That's sick.
get it.
Kind of
I was thinking like,
to find where these openings are
like
gonna be.
Okay, are you there?
ball one
Kinda like
hand
what we
and
saw on that last one on
Yeah, I'm
flagrant
here, what's up?
interference, Davis.
I was like typing in codes for discounts, and like I just typed in legend, like the way he spells his gamer tag, LQGEND, and it was fucking 10% off or some shit.
Different map, obviously different mode, but
Knocked $13 off the total.
That's cool.
They just need one round of slays and they're right back in this.
Yeah, I just see these players.
You could probably put in
take
any of their
very
names
smart
in, I bet.
battles, even
Yeah,
when they're
that's what I'm
about to die,
saying.
I see them laying down shots
Because
in the
like
direction where
I have
it's
that shit on my computer where it like automatically looks for discount codes for you.
Yeah.
And you're like typing in Ace and it just says it wasn't valid. So I'm like, I wonder if it had to be like a past discount code or something.
As this game's gonna slow
Right.
down at a slower pace of play on recharge.
And that's what we've come to expect on this map, especially in these Slayer situations. Tapping's got eyes, but he's actually getting pressure there by Druck. And look at that. I mean, the amount of work he's putting in there. Tapping
It's kind of pointless though because with the discount it puts me under $100, which makes shipping cost money. Or if it's over $100, shipping free. So it's like,
well, how much does shipping cost? Because if the shipping costs less than
It's
$13,
$12.
oh, you save a you save $1. You save $1 in the long run, dude.
saving $1.20. Like, do I just add something else now for $10?
Pipe side must know that.
Yeah, might as well, right?
Right? No, for real.
Over during a standoff time, you
That's like the reason I added the rug was just to get it over $100 to get the fucking
off the shock rifle, but
thing.
too
I'm
little, too
like,
late. That's gonna be Tulloch and Druck
Shit.
using that last shot bait
Let's see.
to pick off all these kills with pipe. Here comes the
Funny.
collapse. Gilkey somehow able to trade out that kill against last shot, which is huge. Now APG has shock rifle. They only have a 1-kill lead. It used to be 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that
Try
again.
to desperately slow this down.
So I got that
And it all
like
came
this.
down to that push that we saw over toward the elevators as well.
oh, and this green and
He's gotta be
pink
careful,
baseball
though. He's
hat.
in a rock and a hard place, and unfortunately does not come out on top there. That is now going to be lead over to Pure. This was a 5-kill game for Native Gaming at one point in time, and that lead has been chipped away little by little. And one of the players that I was actually keeping eyes on to see if he was going to start to step things up was Talik, because Talik started it off 2 frags, wasn't really getting much movement there, but then started to find a good string of kills that brought him, you know, kind of just gave him a little bit of that motivation here.
You get some
Also,
Jinxie
Tennessee
glasses for
certainly does help on that
$15.
one as well. Barco, though, still trying to keep his team very much in this one with a melee
There you go.
onto the person I was just talking about here. 31-31 total score.
Really be $5.
Just like that, able to isolate,
Well, no,
pick off
$3.
another kill.
Because the shipping's 12, and then you buy that, and it makes it so you don't have to pay for shipping.
Game are going to take up to
Really
grab
does.
this
Yeah.
camo because
$3.
with it being up in still, like I said, when it was 15 seconds ago, you don't want to let Pure just
perfectly set up and get to spots where they can nade it wherever they like. It looks like Shroud's going to come down. Barcode's going to pop that camo, and that's going to be a free, uncontested camo.
So for whatever reason, APG right now is playing as HCS 107.
I noticed that. I was like, what the fuck?
They acknowledged it a minute ago, and it makes me wonder because aren't their gamer tags associated with the SSD that they use or whatever, like the thing that fucking Spartan got in trouble with? It makes me wonder, like, does APG having to use like what's going on, man? Turns out APG pulled a Spartan.
Into a 1v2. Kind of shocking to be honest.
No, at this point, it's like
they had a good
he probably wouldn't be playing.
That there would have been another player there, but never mind. Turn around out of that.
But yeah, I thought it was weird. I'm like, maybe he just couldn't like, I forgot his SSD or like, I don't know. Definitely some explanation for it's got to be had.
Facts.
So those ones are tough.
Well, and I must be
for
wrong
him because he's like, fuck my settings.
I swear the very first game, like for like a second it said APG and then it went to HCS, so I could be wrong.
You have to be able to get more value out of that, and sometimes you just get popped by a nade.
You missed it the first game when you were in the shitter. They were playing
crucial flank.
The map
go down.
I forget its new name, but they're playing the rig from H5.
Yeah.
And Druck jumped top mid or whatever to get the OS. Literally got it, popped it, and then just like fell right off the map. And like the way he fell off the map, it almost was like, how did he do that, bro? Like, it was like, I know that was an accident, but it definitely seemed intentional. Like you should have seen it. He just like walked off the map.
Which is why he's playing so passive out of this one. Of course, he has got that shock rifle.
Oh, dude, I just realized these things I was looking at are sold out. They have like these, they have a hammock for SSG, and they have an inflatable lounger. It's like a little fucking couch you can inflate, like have for like camping or some shit. I was like, I'll throw one of those in. Those are cool, but they're both sold out.
Bring it with you to Worlds and then just like inflate it.
Have my own chair in the crowd. Yep. I ain't sitting on no floor this year. Yeah, they're both on sale though, so it makes sense that they're sold out.
You got 3 kills remaining here.
Only $19.
That's really your last-ditch effort to just try and make this game happen in your favor. Tapping buttons with some nasty shots there, forcing Talik back though, and they got the eyes on him. Barco trying to get the better of Druck in that situation, ends up running into 2. Now Tapping got himself the camo, Dave. Can they come back out of this one?
He has the camo, still has a couple grenades. Now he just wants to find out some info for his teammates. Where are they at? They have to know something's going on here. They hear it in pipes. There's going to be...
I wasn't okay, he still got the kill.
Massive kill.
They had to know there's a second one. He heard
they
the slide.
They got to get this kill too.
Have to get unanswered as well. Does not get an unanswered. Barcode falls there.
Becomes a lot more difficult now at this point. 49-47. Talik looks like he's in a pretty decent position here to receive any kind of pressure that's going to be coming out of control. Meanwhile, on the other side of that, you got Tapping, who's just looking for an opening. And look, Pure ain't going to give it to you. So you need to try and find that opening where it's present.
And one other concern, too, is Tapping is focused fully across map here, but he's the closest player over towards the edge when it comes towards long haul.
Yeah.
That could be a dangerous play to make, especially in a situation like this. You don't want to be just fully cross-mapping if you could be right next to an opponent. Because right there, the exact opposite can happen. Tapping buttons is hoping to lay down teammates, damage for his teammates to finish off under control, but likely the reverse will happen. Tapping buttons might take some damage. Someone's going to flank over from glass or long.
Adding the hat, I'm saving $16, and my total comes out to $118.80 for a hat, the rug, and a jersey with my name on it. It's actually not bad.
Maybe Tapping should
away
a little bit sooner.
Under 120 for all that.
Especially, with that.
It would be like 135, 140 total without the
Yeah, I think there's 2 solutions to how you potentially play that. One is Tapping does have another teammate over there, and so Tapping can be a little bit over towards glass or a little bit closer towards long haul to make sure someone can't sneak on up. And then that second...
Yeah, I tried entering Stellar, and it just says Stellar couldn't be used with your existing discounts. What if Stellar gets me a better discount?
You know it's a 49 game.
I would assume
There's a
not.
difference
I assume
between
it's
laying
probably
out
all the
shots and
same
getting more
for the
value
players.
across the map in the middle of the game where your team can maybe get a better push and take out
what
2
do I
players in control. But when it's just 1 kill, you have no room for
Yeah, it looks like it
you
is.
gotta play a little more selfish and worry about your own life.
It'd be kind of shitty if it was like one player got more than that.
He's better, dude.
Was able to get that kill.
He's not a stinky Frenchman, dude.
Had he not gotten that kill, we're looking at a 48-48 game. As a matter of 48-47.
I was right in that play, by the way. The first
I
always want to be right. The first kill he got was on last shot, and then last shot somehow got the plasma grenade kill.
So Legend actually gets me a bigger discount than Stellar.
Yeah, he just threw the nade up and just waited.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Or team nade, or I don't know.
I don't know if it is a different percentage or if it's just like
well,
let's shout or something.
I mean, ultimately that was going to be just one of the many situations that would end up plaguing them in this one.
I think I just go through with this purchase. I have a new, something new for my setup on the bottom, the touch grass rug. I'll go hard. And then I got a new hat and a new jersey. There's only 2 XLs, not too big.
Did so 15 assists he was able to lock up in that game and came back with 9 kills. And the way that last shot is just taking initiative, the way that he is pushing these fights.
Let's see something.
Shows no fear. It is reflected in the scoreboard.
The man has no fear.
Yeah, he's got no fear. It is honestly impressive. And
He's got like some weird fear though. Like that's the weird part about it. Is like he fears nothing, but it's like walnuts or something like that.
Like I have a rational fear of whales, for example. Yeah, I do. I'm just afraid of whales. You know, so maybe last shot's afraid.
I don't want to play Halo and not watch it. I'm not gonna lie.
Go outside your hotel room and playing whale noises.
I just want everyone
I feel
to know
you,
right
especially
now,
today. Like
watching,
today's just
I
pool
told
play.
that to Dave in confidence as a friend, and now he's going to try and use that
Trying to get some games in?
Terrible human being. Anyway, let's
Yeah, I'm done to hop on. Let me make this purchase real quick.
And
I'll
there's
get on.
Alec yet again.
No rush.
Trying to make sure I'm getting the right size. I don't want to fucking have to deal with the turning it or any of that type of shit. I feel like I
but then on top
probably won't be able to.
A recharge game, really playing that supportive role to.
Says customized jerseys will have an additional 7 to 10 business days before shipping. Non-customized jerseys will be shipped immediately. That makes sense. As long as I get it before Worlds, that's all that really matters.
Right.
What they needed to start getting that.
I just want it for day one. I feel like that'll help with like
Yeah, we saw
people
good
seeing it and be like,
moments,
oh shit,
but
there's Hayes.
I think this
You'll
is